What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I'm coming in hot, guys, already, but we are here for the best and the worst of Paramount Pictures. So I've done 3 boutique labels in this series, and this is my first studio that I am tackling. And what better studio to tackle than the always controversial Paramount Pictures? I feel like people love to rag on Paramount, right? They like to rag on them because some of their I feel like they've done a lot to up their game in the past couple of years, to be fair. But some of Paramount's transfers are a little lackluster. They've been accused of overly DNRing some of their 4K remasters as well. So they're kind of easy, I feel like, to pick on. But to be perfectly honest, like, I've liked a lot of the 4Ks that I've gotten from Paramount. I think they have a lot of great stuff. It was kind of not too difficult, but kind of difficult to pick out like what I would consider to be the worst from Paramount Pictures. There is one that people would point to and say that's a no-brainer, and we'll talk about it when we get to it because I have differing opinions on this title. But anyway, we're talking about the best and the worst of Paramount Pictures. I'm not saying that these 5 that I brought over here, because I got 5 of each, guys, are the 5 best releases of all time or anything like that. I'm not saying that these other 5 are the 5 worst. This is really just me kind of trying to point you guys in the right direction of these physical media releases. Like, there are 5 here that I think that you should have in your collection, and there are 5 here that I think you could probably live without having in your collection. That's kind of the point of these videos, guys. So before we get into it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already, I would definitely appreciate that. And also comment down below, guys. I'm sure everybody's got differing opinions on this. The last video that I did in this series about Vinegar Syndrome, everybody had different opinions on that video. So definitely chime in the comment section below. I'm sure there's some titles, maybe some Paramount 4Ks that I haven't checked out that maybe you found to be lackluster. Let me know in the comment section below. Or maybe some ones that you thought were great and should have been in my list of 5 best. Let me know about all that stuff in the comment section below. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. I'm going to start with my 5 best. I like to start on a positive, you know, kind of put the video on the right track, you know, I feel like. And we're going to start with, I reviewed this one in 2023, and this was my favorite 4K of the year for pretty much, I think, like up until like maybe September or October or something. But Dragon Slayer, I thought this was a phenomenal 4K. I thought it looked great. It had Dolby Atmos as well. Like, when that dragon was breathing fire, like, it sounded incredible. So I think this is one, and I always like to champion this one because I don't think enough people talking about it. It's a really cool fantasy film. It's starring Peter McNichol. Now, people that are really like in the film world and like remember this movie when it came out, like, everybody knew that this movie was awesome and they bought it, you know, day one. But I just feel like in the overall like landscape of people that talk about physical media, not enough people talk about Dragon Slayer from 2023, this 4K release. I thought it was phenomenal. I had a great steelbook as well, but I didn't double dip. I just got this slipcover version because I do like the artwork on this a lot. But really cool fantasy film, for sure. Really, really great story. And the dragon looked incredible, just absolutely incredible in 4K. The scenery, the setting, all that stuff looked fantastic in 4K. And like I said, Dolby Atmos, the sound was incredible. But another thing that made this really awesome was they actually added I think they added like 6 or 7 new special features. There were like new interviews, there were new features, and I think there was a new commentary as well. So Paramount really went all out for this release to kind of make it feel a little bit more boutique. I felt like when they put this one out, like, I could have saw this one coming out within the Paramount Presents line. Like, it felt like a boutique release with all the special features that they added in. And they don't do that a lot for catalog 4K. So I think that alone would classify this as one of the best releases that Paramount Pictures has ever done. So yeah, Dragon Slayer, if you were on the fence about this one, you haven't checked it out yet, I think it's still pretty cheap. It was like $19.99 when it came out, just to get this standard 4K, and I've seen it go down to like $15 during Black Friday and other sales. So I highly recommend you pick this one up if you like fantasy films and stuff like this. It's from I think 1981, but it's a hell of a movie. Really enjoyed it, and the 4K is fantastic. So I had to call that out. And we also got to talk about my favorite movie of 2022, Top Gun Maverick. This is definitely one of the best discs that Paramount has ever done. I thought this sounded incredible. Like, I had just gotten my guys, I got a soundbar. I don't have the full Atmos setup, but I got my new soundbar, and it had a subwoofer, and it kind of simulates that Atmos. But I just remember, like, I had just got that, and then I watched this, and I had that sucker turned all the way up. and I felt like my entire basement like rumbling and shaking. Like it was an awesome experience to watch this movie with that sound. So it sounded incredible. It looked amazing. It was like one of the best like modern films that I've ever seen in 4K. I think only Oppenheimer could give it a run for its money as far as like visual quality. And the movie's just great. Like I love the original Top Gun, but to be completely honest, I think this is a better movie than the original Top Gun. Like, and I've seen that happen before. Like Blade Runner 2049, I would say is better than the original Blade Runner. But to be completely honest, I'm not a huge like fan of the original Blade Runner movie, but I do like Top Gun a lot. I love the original Top Gun, and there's a cheesy quality to that original film that this movie doesn't have. So I get it if you like that movie better than this one for nostalgic reasons. But I just think as a movie, like you don't get much better than Top Gun Maverick. It's a phenomenal film. I saw this in the theaters, and it was worth every penny to see it in the theaters. I got this on 4K, and it sounded incredible. So yeah, this has to be included in one of the best discs that Paramount has ever put out. And this one also has over 80 minutes of new special features as well included. So that was definitely fantastic. A lot of good stuff to dig into on the movie. So yeah, Top Gun Maverick, guys. And I would look, I didn't bring it over here because I didn't want to be redundant, but the original Top Gun in 4K is also a fantastic 4K. So I would recommend that one as well. But Top Gun Maverick, guys, it is a great movie if you haven't seen it. I do recommend watching, if you haven't seen the original Top Gun, watch the original Top Gun, because that movie, I don't feel like you have to watch that to watch this. I feel like this one kind of stands alone, but if you watch that one definitely enhances your experience with this one. But Top Gun Maverick on 4K is one of the best 4Ks that I have ever seen. So I had to include that on this list. I just reviewed this one not too long ago, but I brought it back over here because I thought it was that damn good. Chinatown on 4K. This is part of the Paramount Presents line. I thought this was a gorgeous 4K, and they actually included the sequel in here, The Two Jakes, so I thought that was really cool. Nice supplemental feature. And they just put this one back in stock too, I believe. I think it's on Amazon, unless it's sold out again. Chinatown looked amazing. The film itself, like, I had never seen Chinatown. I know, throw all the hate you want in the comment section. You're not cultured enough, Ken. I hear that a lot. But anyway, I love it that I got a lot of movies that I haven't checked out yet. Like, it makes me excited for the future and all the other classic films that I haven't seen, even though I've seen quite a bit. But I haven't checked. I had never seen Chinatown, and I watched this and I was like, oh my God, this is like one of the best movies I've ever seen. I absolutely loved it. It looked fantastic in 4K. It's got a lot of really good new features as well. I think there was 3 new features on here. You got new A State of Mind, author Sam Wasson on Chinatown. So yeah, a lot of great supplemental material features, and that's on the actual 4K disc. And then you get the Two Jakes in here as well. So the fact that they gave you a bonus movie, and then they gave you a bunch of new special features, and the movie itself looked phenomenal, and the actual movie is phenomenal. Like, this has to be in my best that Paramount has ever done. All right, so this is one that I don't hear people talk about too much, but this one just blew me away when I watched it. And it was a movie I had been watching since I was a kid. I think I saw this movie in the theater. I watched it on VHS countless times. I cannot wait for the sequel to come to 4K. I think it's this October or this November. I can't quite remember, but The Addams Family, guys. The Addams Family, the more Mamushka edition. This looked incredible, like absolutely incredible. This is one of the best 4Ks that Paramount has ever done, hands down. And it came out, no, maybe it came out the year before. I think this actually came out in 2021. And the other one that I'm going to talk about that got all kinds of criticism and hate came out in 2022. So yeah, Paramount's always been doing like really good, solid 4Ks for sure. People like to pile on them for like certain releases that they did. But, and there's no doubt they've done some lackluster stuff. We'll get to it, guys. But The Addams Family is not one of those discs. I thought this looked perfect. Like it looked like an actual like movie, like a film from the 90s, but it was also like really clean and sharp as well, and the colors were excellent. That HDR was just enhancing everything. It just made everything look so freaking clean and awesome. The Addams Family mansion looked incredible. All the characters looked incredible. There was such incredible detail, guys. And this movie, like the scenery of this movie is just like dripping with all kinds of incredible visual style and substance. So I love this 4K. I thought it was great. And as somebody that's been watching this movie since VHS, it's like, damn, I didn't know this movie could look that good. I just didn't know it could look that good. And I think this one also had, Yeah, actually, it had a filmmaker focus. Like, it had an interview with the director, Barry Sonnenfeld, and I think he actually oversaw the restoration as well. So Barry Sonnenfeld came back to oversee the restoration. He did a new feature on this, and they also, I think they did the introduction to the more Mamushka edition, which I think that was the first time that had ever been out on disc, which is basically just an extended scene, the extended scene of the dance scene between Fester and Gomez Addams in the movie. That's all it really is. But it was nice to get that included on the disc. You have the More Mamushka edition. You got the interview with the director. And I thought this was just a phenomenal 4K. So I had to include this on the list, the Addams Family on 4K. And lastly, guys, I don't know if there's a lot of people that got this, but I was blown away with the picture quality here, and I think it was like in my top 5 4Ks the year it came out because it just looked that good. The movie itself is good. Like, I like the movie. It's a nice romance movie set in Hawaii, but I didn't even mention the movie yet. Let's talk about it. Elvis Blue Hawaii, guys. How many of you all got Elvis Blue Hawaii? This is number 36 in the Paramount Presents line. This looked, and I think this was this might have been like the second 4K that Paramount Presents had ever did at this point. But this was fantastic. This was absolutely fantastic. Looked incredible. Set in Hawaii, so there's so many incredible like visuals, and you got the blue water, and you got the green of the palm trees, and just the setting like looked mesmerizing in 4K with all those colors. But like the actual film itself, this looked like a 4K that Arrow Video or Vinegar Syndrome would have done. Like, it was just perfectly like filmic and just had that like nice grain structure to remind you that you're watching a film. That HDR was just killing it with all these colors, guys. And it just looked gorgeous. So this is one of the best 4Ks that I think Paramount has ever done. If you like put a gun to my head and you're like top 3 4Ks that Paramount has ever done, ever of all time, I might throw Blue Hawaii in there because I thought it looked that damn good. And you also got I think there's some new features in here as well. There's definitely a filmmaker focus on here, but you got the feature film on 4K, and then you got the movie on Blu-ray as well with some new special features. But I just thought this was incredible, guys. The movie itself was fun. It was a fun, kind of romantic comedy type film with Elvis playing music. And I haven't seen a bunch of movies with Elvis in it. I watched King Creole, which also came out from Paramount Presents, but I haven't seen a ton of Elvis movies. But he's really good in this. He's charming, charismatic. He's Elvis, for crying out loud. He's Elvis. But great 4K, guys. Like, if you got friends coming over and you want people to see like the potential of the 4K format, like, you pop in Blue Hawaii and show them like what a movie from the 60s could look like now in 4K, and it will blow everybody away. Blue Hawaii is fantastic, guys. That it has to be included in one of the best. All right, guys, before I get into the worst, I know that there's going to be this movie, and to be honest, like, I might put it on the thumbnail. I don't know at this point, but people are going to call this movie out and say it has to be in my worst because everybody piled on this 4K when it came out. But I reviewed it and I was like, it's okay. Like, it's not a drastic upgrade over the Blu-ray, but it's fine. But I think for one reason alone, it doesn't deserve to be in the worst. And that is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. So I'm not putting this in the worst, and I'm not putting this in the best. This is just kind of a bonus movie for me to talk about. I think that I just kind of an explanation, guys, because people are going to be talking about it in the comment section. I already know it. But so the over hour of deleted scenes are fantastic. And yes, they're in very low quality. Like, they're not upgraded at all. They look like they were like VHS quality, guys, but they're great deleted scenes, and it's so cool to get those on a disc. Never before seen deleted scenes. Some really funny stuff in there, guys, with John Candy and Steve Martin kind of riffing off each other. Some really good stuff in there. So I think just for that alone, the fact that they included over an hour of never before seen deleted scenes, that keeps this off my worst. And what a great movie. Such a fantastic film. And I didn't think the 4K was terrible, but yes, when you compare it to the Blu-ray, it's not really a drastic change in quality, I guess. So if you got the Blu-ray, I will say, if you don't care about the deleted scenes, maybe just keep the Blu-ray and don't even bother with the 4K. But I will not put this in the worst just because of those over an hour of never before seen deleted and extended scenes, because I thought those were fantastic and hilarious in their own right. All right, guys, so let's get into the actual worst of the worst, guys. Let's talk about Rosemary's Baby on 4K. So I love Rosemary's Baby. The movie itself is one of my all-time favorites, but I had such high hopes for this release when it came out. And to be completely honest, I got the Criterion edition. This is one of the first Criterions I ever added to my collection. And going forward, I might watch the Criterion version because I just like the way it looks a little bit better. This was really like dreary, like the colors. And it's not like a real colorful film anyway, but I just thought that the colors in this looked better than the colors in this. This looked really like pale and muted, and the quality just wasn't that good. I just didn't think it looked that good in 4K. When I was comparing the two, I'm just like, I like the way the Blu-ray looks a little bit better than the 4K. So I was not impressed with this 4K at all. So that's why I'm putting it on the list. And like, if you put out a 4K, like it should look better than the Blu-ray. And I know this is a Criterion Blu-ray, but it should look better than the Blu-ray, plain and simple. And this has some special features on it, but the Criterion's got so much more. So it dropped a lot of the special features. And I get it. Criterion probably didn't let them have the special features and stuff, but they should have tried to get some of these features from Criterion to put this on here just to make this the comprehensive version of Rosemary's Baby on disc. But yeah, I just wasn't impressed with this, guys. I just wasn't impressed with it. And going forward, I'll probably watch the Criterion instead of the 4K. So Rosemary's Baby is on the list of worst. Here's a Blu-ray. Here's the one Blu-ray that I'm going to throw on here. This one came out, I think, last December, but Pet Cemetery Bloodlines, stay away. Stay far away from this. This is, I think, a prequel to the original Pet Cemetery, and it's absolute garbage. It's shit, and I fell asleep like 3 times watching it. I don't even think there's many scenes with like actual undead pets in it, so it just completely misses the actual premise of the film, and I just did not enjoy this one at all. I thought it was so incredibly bland and boring and generic and just not good. So do not get Pet Cemetery Bloodline. There is a 4K. I'm showing off the Blu-ray. There is a 4K, but don't get this movie at all. Just don't get it. Just watch the original Pet Cemetery. Watch Pet Cemetery 2 if you want to from Scream Factory. That's a worthy sequel, I think. It's a little out there and batshit crazy, but it's worthy. And just stay away from this. Just stay away from this. It's not worth it. So don't get Pet Cemetery Bloodlines for sure. But there are over 50 minutes of special features, like if you even give a shit about the movie. But I don't recommend it, guys. Don't recommend it. Also, the core on 4K, guys. Like this was one of my worst of the year that it came out. I thought this movie was complete shit. I still think this movie's shit. I saw it in the theaters back in the day, back in 2003. I thought it was horrible. I love disaster movies, but I like disaster movies that like actually make sense and are rooted in some kind of like science and logic. And when they got to the point where they were just like throwing all kinds of shit at the wall and nothing was like actually making sense, like the world's overheating, like that's the premise here that we're talking. And people got to go to the center of the earth to set off a nuclear bomb to get the earth like moving again and heating up again. Like, what the hell is this plot? It's ridiculous. Like when you get to that point, and then like Day After Tomorrow, I did not like that at all. 2012, all these movies are ridiculous. They're all ridiculous. Like I like the disaster movies that actually are rooted in some kind of reality. Like even though they may be outlandish and out there and may not happen either, but they have to be rooted in some kind of reality and science for me to like engage and get into it. So I just hate this movie. I despise it. But the 4K just didn't look that great. It really didn't look that great at all. The movie's got really bad special effects, so it kind of just highlights how bad those special effects are. And there is a Shout Factory edition of this that had some new special features. This drops all those special features. There is no special features on this whatsoever, so that definitely plays into this being one of the worst of the year. I don't even think it had Dolby Atmos or anything like that. I think it was just the 5.1. So yeah, this for me was this is definitely one of the worst that Paramount has ever done. I hate the movie. I thought the 4K was extremely lackluster. Only served to make the movie look worse, which is already shit. So yeah, I know there's core fans out there though. I know there's core fans out there and maybe you love this 4K, but I hate the core. So that had to be on my list. This is a movie that I love. Been watching since I was a kid, like The Addams Family, but I thought this 4K was it just wasn't it for me. This is kind of my Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, because I was like, this 4K it doesn't look good. But Wayne's World, I was like, what is the point of this? Like, I watched the Blu-ray, and then I popped this in, and I'm like, they look the same, like exactly the same. So I didn't see any kind of improvement in the visuals here, and I don't think they added anything new. in terms of special features. I bought the Steelbook, I think, the year before, and it had all the same special features. Everything was the same. I thought it just looked not great. It was fine, I guess. Like, maybe there was a little bit of a difference, but I just remember, like, popping in the Blu-ray. I didn't even review this. I was so disappointed in this. I was so excited for it to come out because I was like, oh my God, it's going to look amazing. Wayne's World. It's got so many great visual moments, like the actual, club that they're in the beginning. Like, all that stuff's going to look great. And then I watched this and I'm like, this is just lame. Like, this doesn't look good. It looks just like the Blu-ray. So I wasn't a big fan of this, and they didn't add anything new. Maybe if they added in an hour's worth of never before seen deleted scenes, I would have kept this off the list. But since they had no special features, I didn't think it looked that great. Wayne's World has to go in the worst. But I love the movie. The movie's like maybe my favorite comedy of all time. Like, I love Wayne's World. And last but not least, guys, we're going to talk about another Tom Cruise movie that came out last year. I think it was 2023, but Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, which I think they've changed the title now to Dead Reckoning. So that's one reason to put this on the list, is the fact that this title on the cover is now invalid because they changed the damn title of the movie. And the next movie, I think, is going to have a different title underneath Mission Impossible, and it's not going to be Part 2. So yeah, that's why it's on the list, guys, because of the title. There you go. That's my explanation. But I just remember watching this 4K, and I didn't think the 4K looked that great. I didn't think it looked as sharp. It certainly didn't look as great and as sharp as Top Gun Maverick, for sure. But I wasn't impressed with this 4K. Like, I almost felt like I was watching Blu-ray while I was watching it. And going into watching this, I was like, oh, this is going to look fantastic. This is going to look just the same as Top Gun Maverick. It's going to look fantastic. There's so many, because I saw this movie in the theaters. I saw this movie in the theaters. I was like, this is going to look fantastic on 4K. Like, the jump off the mountain, like everything's on the whole train sequence at the end. All that stuff's going to look great. And it just disappointed me. It just let me down. And on top of that, oh my God, I almost dropped it, guys. On top of that, so they did something really weird with this release. There's quite a few like special features. Well, there's over 30 minutes of special features, and they did not put those on the 4K disc, which I'm not exactly sure why they didn't just put on the 4K disc. You would think they'd be able to. I guess because it's a long movie. I mean, it is almost 3 hours, which it's unnecessarily long in my opinion. Like, I like the movie okay. I did like the movie, but it's one of the weaker Mission Impossible movies for me, and I think the length has a lot to do with that. But they put the 30 minutes of special features on the Blu-ray, and this Blu-ray, guys, doesn't have the movie. The movie's not on the Blu-ray, so they couldn't even put the movie on the Blu-ray with the special features. They just put the special features on this Blu-ray, which I thought was kind of lame. Like, if you're going to put the Blu-ray in there anyway, like, put the movie on there. Like, you're already... Like, does that cost that much more? Like, you already have the disc. You're already printing the disc and putting it in here. Would it kill you to just put the movie on there to make people happy to have both options? They have the Blu-ray, they have the 4K. So that's another reason why this release is kind of lame, in my opinion. So yeah, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. That is the last of my worst, guys. So that's it. That's my 5 worst. That's my 5 best. I'm sure there'll be some controversy, some people that have differing opinions in the comment section. Let me have it, guys. Just let me have it. I don't care. I'm tough enough. I got thick skin. Let me have it in the comment section below. But I can guarantee you this. My worst, I don't think you can defend him. I really don't think you can defend him. And my best, I don't think you can say one bad thing about him. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on bell notifications for all future videos, and follow me on all of my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description. And we'll see you next time.